Kenjaku, from the anime and manga Jujutsu Kaisen. Kenjaku is one of those villains who doesn't look scary at first, but the more you understand him, the worse it gets. He's not even a curse. He's actually an ancient sorcerer and curse user who operated during the Heian era nearly 1,000 years ago, although his actual age is likely much older. But unlike other ancient sorcerers who preserved themselves after death in the form of cursed objects, Kenjaku survived into the modern day through the use of his main ability, which lets him swap bodies by transplanting his brain into other people, gaining their memories and powers like he just logged into a new account. So every time you see him, you're not even seeing the real him. You're seeing whoever he's currently wearing. Identity? Gone. Morality? Also gone. Now, what does he actually want? This is where Kenjaku becomes different from almost every villain. He's not chasing power, revenge, or even world domination. His goal is to force humanity to evolve by merging people with cursed energy and creating something completely new. And the craziest part? He doesn't even fully know what will happen, and he's totally okay with that. He literally just wants to see the result. Just pure curiosity with zero concern for consequences. His past gets even darker. At one point, he lived as Noritoshi Kamo, a sorcerer so cruel he was called the most evil in history. During that time, Kenjaku carried out inhumane experiments on humans, including creating cursed wombs just to study how cursed energy works. Honestly, don't think I can go into detail on some of the things he's done on here. And here's the wild part. Kenjaku is Yuji Itadori's biological mother. I know what you're thinking. Bro, how the hell is that even possible? Well, let me explain. The ancient sorcerer took over the body of Kaori Itadori, Yuji's mother,
This is a sick Negro!
and bore him with Yuji's father, Jin Itadori. This makes Kenjaku the creator of Yuji, engineered specifically to create a perfect vessel for Sukuna. He literally created the main character, not out of love, just strategy. Wait, so Yuji's dad cracked the dude?
Bro, that's still gay! No, you're gay! He's gay!
That's the zesty-ass level he sometimes operates on. There are no boundaries for him. If something helps his plan, he'll do it. As a body-swapping parasite, he has committed atrocities across multiple lifetimes, like the creation of the cursed death paintings, orchestrating the Shibuya incident, initiating the culling game, manipulation of Yuji's lineage, attempted universal merger, targeting children, desecration of corpses, and exploitation of friends. Even compared to the king of curses, Sukuna, Kenjaku was regarded as the most evil sorcerer in Jujutsu history, with even the heroes saying they would rather let Sukuna rampage through Japan than let Kenjaku succeed in the merger plan. At the end of the day, Kenjaku's evil is defined by their utter lack of empathy, viewing humanity as mere test subjects for their research. One question's been bugging me though. Do you guys think Kenjaku enjoyed taking back shots from Yuji's dad?
Noritoshi Kamo is merely one of the many names I've had. You can call me what you love.
Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Dio is the kind of villain who doesn't just become evil, he chooses it, fully and proudly. He starts off as an ordinary human, Dio Brando, a poor kid born into a miserable life with an abusive alcoholic father. Growing up in that environment, Dio develops a deep hatred for weakness and poverty, possessing an immense desire for power from a very young age. He then gets adopted into the wealthy Joestar family after poisoning his abusive father. Instead of seeing it as, a second chance, he sees it as an opportunity to take everything for himself. And from that point on, it's up. From the beginning, Dio isn't just a mean and petty dickhead, he's calculated. As a teenager, he systematically tries to ruin Jonathan Joestar's life, emotionally and socially. He lies, manipulates, and even harms people and animals close to Jonathan without hesitation. Dio genuinely believes he deserves to stand above everyone else. Then everything changes when Dio discovers the Stone Mask, an ancient artifact that turns him into a vampire. And this is where he fully embraces who he is. As a vampire, Dio gains immense power, super strength, regeneration, and immortality. And instead of questioning it, he immediately goes, yeah, this feels right. No hesitation, just instant acceptance. For Dio, becoming a monster isn't a tragedy, it's an upgrade. His goal evolves alongside his power. At first, he just wants wealth and control, but over time, it
becomes something bigger. Dio doesn't just want to rule people physically. He wants to be feared, worshipped, and untouchable. Operating with confidence, he's charismatic, theatrical, literally embodying pure, narcissistic evil, sadistic cruelty, and lack of empathy. He doesn't see people as equals at all. Dio's hatred for the Joestar family is profound. He systematically destroyed the Joestar family by manipulating them to steal their fortune. He has deep-rooted envy and jealousy, generational hatred extending to all of Jonathan's descendants, murdering George Joestar and killing Jonathan on his honeymoon to steal his body. His actions caused a multi-generational curse, resulting in the near extinction of the bloodline. His level of pettiness is even crazier. Immediately upon arriving at the Joestar estate, Dio straight kicks Jonathan's dog, Danny. Come on, bruh, not the dog. Stealing Irina's first kiss to ruin Jonathan's first romance. Burning Danny alive in an incinerator. He really hates this dog, man. Poisoning George Joestar and pretending to be friends with Jonathan for years while secretly plotting to destroy him. He's literally one of, if not the, greatest hater of all time.
Hush, boy! You won't speak my name in vain again!
Shou Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Shou Tucker is a minor antagonist, known as the Sewing Life Alchemist. Shou Tucker's introduced as a polite, slightly awkward researcher who just seems tired. He's a single father struggling to keep his job as a state alchemist, and at first you almost feel bad for him. He's not loud, not powerful, just a normal guy under pressure. To keep his state alchemist license, Tucker is required to produce results, specifically another talking chimera, something he had already achieved years before. The problem is, he can't replicate it, and instead of accepting failure or losing his status, he makes a choice that completely defines his evil. Years earlier, the chimera that got him his title was created by fusing his own wife with an animal, and when he's pushed again, he does it again. This time, the victims are his young daughter, Nina, and her dog.
Something wrong with this nigga, bro!
Yeah, there's no twist or hidden meaning there. He literally fuses his own child and her pet into a single creature, fully aware of what he's doing. And the result isn't just disturbing, it can still speak. It recognizes people. It suffers. That's what makes it so hard to watch. This isn't a mindless monster, it's a child trapped in something unnatural. Shou Tucker is widely considered evil and is one of the most hated anime characters due to his extreme selfishness and lack of remorse. Understandably so. What makes this even worse is how he justifies it. Tucker doesn't see himself as evil. In his mind, he's a desperate man doing what he has to do to survive and keep his position. He even tries to compare his actions to other alchemists, like, we all make sacrifices. Like, bro, who's we? But that's the disconnect. Most people draw a line somewhere. Tucker doesn't. He is defined by extreme selfishness, narcissism, cold utilitarianism, and lack of remorse. He's just a man who valued his ambition and status more than the lives of the people closest to him.
You can only do so much with animals after all. Alchemists do that!
The Major from Hellsing Ultimate. The Major is the leader of Millennium, a remnant Nazi organization obsessed with creating war using artificial vampires. The Major is a short, plump man with blonde hair and yellow eyes, dressed in a white suit, creating a stark contrast with his monstrous actions. He's terrifying because while most villains want power or control, the Major just wants war, and he proves that through his actions. The Major builds an entire army of artificial vampires and launches a full-scale invasion of London. We're talking mass civilian slaughter, cities thrown into chaos, and streets turning into battlefields overnight. He deploys forces like Zoran Blitz and the Valentine brothers to spread destruction, fully expecting and even welcoming the casualties on both sides. Soldiers, civilians, even his own troops, all expendable. To him, they're not people. They're part of the experience. There's no greater good, no twisted justification. He openly admits that he just loves war. The violence, the noise, the destruction. There's a moment where he gives a speech about it, and it sounds less like a villain plan and more like someone passionately talking about their favorite hobby. It's almost absurd. The Major is a sociopathic, charismatic, and war-obsessed cyborg. He claims to have no goals other than endless war and does not care who wins or loses. At his core, the Major's evil comes from obsession taken to its extreme. He doesn't hate humanity. He just just genuinely enjoys seeing the world burn.
Friends, I love war. I love holocausts. I love blitzkriegs. I love defensive lines. I love sieges, charges. I love mop-up operations and retreats.
Cioccolata from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Cioccolata used to be a surgeon turned Passione member, someone trusted to save lives. But instead of caring about patients, he became obsessed with watching people suffer. Like literally, he would let patients die on purpose or put them in situations where they'd slowly and painfully deteriorate just so he could observe their agony. He would sometimes limit their anesthetics so the patients would regain consciousness mid-operation, allowing him to delight in the patient's suffering and death. He is characterized by his extreme sadism, enjoying the torture and slow death of his victims. Because of that, he loses his medical license, but instead of stopping, he just doubles down. Cioccolata joins the mafia group Passione and teams up with Seiko, who follows him almost like a loyal pet. And the way Cioccolata treats Seiko tells you everything about him. He constantly degrades him and manipulates him, keeping him dependent while clearly seeing him as less than human. Now, his abilities take things to another level. Cioccolata's stand, Green Day, releases a mold that rots flesh when people descend in altitude, like walking downstairs or falling. And of course, he unleashes it across Rome, causing mass civilian deaths. People literally start decaying in the streets, and guess what he was doing during all of it? He was recording it, smiling. Cioccolata does not kill for necessity, but for enjoyment, filming his patients dying in agony to watch later. Cioccolata is extremely cruel, sadistic, highly intelligent, and a psychopathic surgeon. What makes Cioccolata especially disturbing is that there's no deeper goal behind it. He's not trying to rule anything. He's not chasing power in some grand way. He just enjoys suffering. That's it. Pure, direct, no-filter cruelty. Though his death is pretty horrific, as he is punched non-stop by Giorno for 30 seconds to death several times and tossed into a garbage van, which either cuts him apart or takes him to be crushed to death eventually. That is, if he somehow survived Giorno's beatdown, it is entirely played for karma. A person who is complete trash ending up where he belongs, in the trash.
Oh, baby, I want more. Show me more. Let me see that pretty face drain of all.
Ragyo Kiryuin from Kill la Kill. Ragyo Kiryuin is the CEO of Revok's company and the chairwoman of the Honoji Academy and head of the Kiryuin family. On the surface, she's elegant, charismatic, almost goddess-like, but underneath all that, she's genuinely one of the most disturbing characters in anime. She is revealed to be the representative of the parasitical alien being known as the life fibers, a parasitic alien organisms that bond with humans through clothing and is fanatically devoted towards their goal to annihilate humanity. And Ragyo doesn't just study them, she worships them. She believes humanity exists to serve life fibers, and her entire plan is to merge them with people on a global scale, essentially turning humanity into controlled hosts. But it's her personal actions that really define how evil she is. Ragyo is an abusive, manipulative, and cruel in very direct ways. She is also a perverted, abusive, and rapist mother.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
She experiments on her own children, Satsuki and Ryuko, exposing them to life fibers as babies, which were painful procedures that could have killed them. She also shows off her unhealthy and disgusting obsession with subjugation by violating both her daughters frequently. And when one of her daughters failed to endure the experiment of her mother, she callously throws her away, not even bothering to give her a name. Imagine being treated like a disposable lab result by your own mother. Talk about two of the worst parents in anime. Don't even know who's worse. Even ordering a hit on her husband when he was disgusted by Ragyo's cruelty to their daughters. And upon faking his death, Ragyo sends Nui Hadame to track down and kill him. And it doesn't stop there. Ragyo constantly manipulates and abuses Satsuki, both physically and psychologically, to maintain control over her. She doesn't show love, care, or even basic empathy. She is a ruthless, sadistic, cold-hearted, narcissistic, and extremely powerful fusion of human and life fiber. Then there's what she does on a larger scale. Ragyo uses her company, Revoks, to spread life fiber clothing across the world, essentially preparing humanity to be controlled. She only cares about herself. She never cared about her subordinates Nui and Rei, nor her own allies, regardless their loyalty to her. At the end of the day, Ragyo's evil feels extreme because it's both personal and global. Light Yagami from Death Note. Light Yagami is the main protagonist who begins as a brilliant, disciplined student who finds the Death Note, a notebook that lets him kill anyone whose name he writes in it. And at first, his idea sounds almost reasonable. He decides to kill criminals to create a better world. Sounds like justice, right? Yeah, for about 5 minutes. Because very quickly, that sense of justice turns into something twisted. Light doesn't just want to stop crime. He wants to become the god of a new world where he decides who lives and dies. And once he adopts that mindset, the line is gone. Criminals turn into suspects. Suspects turn into anyone who might oppose him. And eventually, even innocent people become acceptable casualties if they get in his way. It's not about justice anymore. It's about maintaining his position. Light Yagami is a highly intelligent, charismatic, narcissistic bastard with a god complex and a top-tier manipulator. He plans multiple steps ahead and sacrifices others without hesitation. He causes deaths both directly by writing names in the Death Note and indirectly, killing law enforcement officers, FBI investigators, even his own father indirectly.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
He shows a lack of empathy, viewing people, including family and romantic interests, as pawns, using them to serve his agenda. He's capable of cold-blooded murder to protect his identity. It's almost like giving someone admin access and they immediately start banning everyone. With time, he gains a massive following of devoted supporters who dubbed him Kira, a Japanese pronunciation of the word killer in English. Kira's total kills, when factoring in other possessors of the note, the total count reaches roughly 279,204. While the numbers represent a massive portion of the world's criminals, Light's actions also included innocent people who threatened his anonymity as Kira. Driven by a belief that the world is rotten, Light sees himself as the chosen, righteous judge of humanity.
That's right. I am Kira.
Orochimaru from Naruto. Orochimaru starts off as one of the most talented ninja in the Hidden Leaf, like prodigy-level talent. But instead of protecting people, he becomes completely obsessed with one thing, learning every jutsu in existence and achieving immortality. And the moment he decides that goal matters more than human life, yeah, it's over. What makes Orochimaru especially disturbing is how far he's willing to go for knowledge. This man doesn't just study things, he experiments on people. He began to conduct illegal experiments that involved experimenting with the corpse of deceased people. He conducted unethical and inhumane experiments on innocent citizens, shinobi, and children.
What the fuck?
Frequently using them as human cattle or guinea pigs for his immortality research. One of his most infamous actions is experimenting with Hashirama's cells, injecting them into dozens of people just to see who survives. Most of them die. Orochimaru literally infiltrates the Hidden Leaf village, kills the 4th Kazekage, and launches an attack that leads to the death of the 3rd Hokage, his own former teacher. That part really shows who he is. This isn't just some rogue ninja doing his own thing. He's willing to betray, destroy, and kill the very people who raised him, all for the sake of his goals. He's manipulative, slake-like, and psychopathic, not to mention his zesty-ass behavior. Just this creepy, predatory, and flamboyant demeanor, with his slivering movements, freaky-ass licking habits.
Stop it. Get some help.
And his obsession with Sasuke. Like, Orochimaru should seriously not be let 50 feet near a school. He is also notoriously hard to kill, and is often joked about as acting like a cockroach for surviving everything and appearing even in Boruto.
If there is any meaning in death at all, it's to take advantage of it.